Good morning, ladies and gents. Today we're going to be talking about a fairly important offshore species, mainly in the commercial but also a little bit in the recreational side of things. It's the Scottsman. Now, Scottsman is Polystyganus praeorbitalis. It gets its name from Polystyganus coming from densely covered, that's the scaling pattern, and then the praeorbitalis comes from the long shape of its head. And then the name itself, Scotsman, obviously we know the Scots are very strong fighters. You're not going to take their land or their freedom, so that fighting spirit is where they get their name from. They're very strong fighting fish, and obviously that's the name Scotsman comes from that. Now, in terms of the fish itself, you've got, as we said, the long head. They've got quite a very steep front forehead, but it slopes to the mouth like that. So it's almost a pyramid triangle type shape into the front, and then a very deep body, so top to bottom, and then but not very thick, if that makes sense, and then a very big tail. And this obviously that helps them with being very strong fighters. It aids in that. Because of that big flat body, it's very difficult to lift them because they tilt themselves sideways and you can't actually pull them up. They are an endemic species. We get them from sort of Beira in Mozambique all the way down to Algoa Bay, and depth-wise you get them from very shallow, so I'd say from about 20 meters depth, although even though most of that stuff's been pillaged already, from 20 meters down all the way to about 120 depth-wise. So really more of an offshore species. Interestingly enough, you do get them from the side. We'll cover that in a little bit. Your main stock of all the Scotsmen is sitting off that Transkei kind of area, so that more wild coast, that place that hasn't been as exploited. They are quite a greedy fish. They do like eating bait, so it is one of the first fish to get knocked out quite quickly. In terms of their movement patterns from tagging data, it's shown that they're quite a resident species, so they're not doing these long migrations or moving from Algoa all the way to Beira. They're not going to be doing that. They're going to find a spot once they've developed, once they've matured out of it, and they're going to stick in that same zone. In terms of what they're going to be eating, like most reef fish, pretty much anything. Your marine worms for the smaller guys, smaller fish, and then as soon as they get bigger, squid, small fish, crustaceans, literally anything they can get their mouths on. They do have teeth to a degree. It's not, you're not talking like tiger teeth type of long gnashes, but long enough that they can debilitate their prey, grab it and grip and then swallow. In terms of sizing, they're gonna get to about 10 kilos or so, thereabout, which is about a 90 centimeter fish. They do get to around, the maximum age that's been recorded is about 13 years old. That was a fish of about 72 centimeters. So if you think of a fish that's going to be 90, it's obviously going to get older than that. But not the oldest fish you're going to find. I mean, nothing like a mussel cracker or something like that. As we mentioned, fairly important recreational and commercial species. You are allowed one per person a day, and that is a total of a 40 centimeter total length fish. So it has to be 40 centimeters to keep. And obviously, like we said, being a resident species, they're staying in one area. Very important in the marine protected area scheme of things. With marine protected areas protecting zones, that zone, as long as that the fish's sort of area where it's going to be living is within that marine protected area, it's going to benefit greatly from a marine protected area. So it's one of the species that's really important in that marine protected area whole scheme of things. Yeah, as we mentioned, you can catch them from the side. One of the main spots for this is the island at Msakaba. I've personally seen this done, so I know it's not just tails, but it's one of the only places where you can get into deep enough water where there's reef structure close enough that you can actually catch them. So mainly your shore-based fish are going to be smaller because you're only managing to get to that shallower reef structure where the young guys are going to be. And we say young guys there because as the big dominant males and females are going to be sitting on the main structure, the deep reef, the ideal spot. And then obviously a young lighty comes in, he wants to be there as well, they're going to kick him out. So he has to find a place to live. That's the shallow reef. So yeah, you're going to be finding them mainly on the shallower section, and then the bigger boys down deeper, like most of your fish. Bait wise, your general bottom baits, your potter squid, very good for them. Your chocker, if you can afford it, very good for them. Not as big a bait as some might think. You're not going to put a whole bonnie down for them. You're going to be putting slightly smaller baits. Kind of a keelback bait will work very well for them. So those combo baits, the chocker and sardine, deadly for them. They're not as common as some of the other species, but you do get quite a few of them. As we said, they're fairly important. So yeah, the Scottsman, lovely fish, very nice eating. Remember, you're only allowed to keep one, so stick to the limits. Rather let one go and let someone else catch it some other day and let them go as well. Share the love, and yeah, definitely one for the species list. Cheers.